Beautiful stuff, everybody. Good morning, you all. We've got a full program coming up here at the second service. Santisha has cautioned me to be quick and be gone. So, is there anybody here from another unity? That's my big gig, okay? Oh, but you were here last week too. Okay, so last year, all right, cool. Welcome to Unity again. Enjoy. Anybody here for the first time?
It's my first Sunday service. I came to here Wednesday.
Oh, you were here Wednesday?
A couple months ago.
A couple months ago, okay. What we're trying to get you people to do is be more consistent. You know? Well, I was here a year ago? So was that good that you didn't need anymore? All right. Look, you're going to enjoy this talk, but really get down to the whole concept of being consistent. The more you come here to Unity of Boulder, the more enlightened you become. And then eventually you will actually leave this place. You'll be here all the time. So be consistent. You're going to love this talk that Tish is going to give.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Shadle. I'm the administrator here at Unity of Boulder. I'm just going to start things off with a few announcements. They're going to be quick because I've also been warned by Santisha to move this along. So coming up next Sunday, we have a homeopathic first aid remedies class going to be taught by a classic homeopathic teacher named Wendy Littlepage. She's taught here before. Her classes are full of information about natural remedies that you can find around town that are very effective yet aren't very intrusive into your body. And she's going to be talking, she's not going to go so much into the details of what homeopathic remedies and that kind of healing is. She's going to go straight in to actual remedies for things like summertime maladies that we usually face in the summertime. But also she's going to talk about some natural first aid remedies to deal with the anxiety of just living in this wacky world right now. So that's going to be next Sunday from 1 to 2:30. It's $35, but we're also doing it that following Tuesday, June 13th from 6:30 to 8:30. That one's going to be live, and it's going to be a hybrid where you could watch it and be a part of it from home. So check that out. Coming June 25th, we are also going to have a Qigong workshop with an Italian Qigong master, Francesco Garipoli. We've had him here numerous times. He is an absolute Qigong master. We only get him once a year. This is the one chance, and that's going to be from 12:30 to 2:30, June 25th, and that's $45. And all this stuff you could sign up for in the bookstore, online, or over the phone. Just give us a call if you have any questions. I want to let people know who haven't been to the Wednesday meditation in a while that is led by Jack and Norma. For this summer, we're trying it out at 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. So we're going to try and see if that's a better time for people, so check that out. We do have one form of offering we've been taking for a long time. It's called Easy Tithe. If that is the one you've been using, it's one where you text from your phone. We're not going to use that one anymore because the rate they charge us for each transaction is way too high. So if that's the one you've been using, please stop that. Today, following the service, we have a potluck over here. If you have a dish to share, please bring it on in and hang out with us. Even if you don't have a dish to share, or if you want to go run and get something from the supermarket, either way, come join us. The fellowship is why we do it. And while you're heading over to Fellowship Hall, stop by the table out here in the lobby. Our YOU is also doing a bake sale. It helps them raise funds for the fun trips they're going to take for our high school age congregation. So please stop by. They even have gluten-free options. So, all right, thank you.
Anyway, okay, welcome. There I am. Okay, good. So this is the time in our service where we do a call for prayer, and if you're facing a challenge right now or someone in your life is, you can fill their name out on a piece of paper in the pew in front of you. And Steve Sheets, who's the head of our prayer partner area. He will be walking down and collecting the papers right down this aisle. So we're going to listen to some beautiful music by David Churchill, this incredible piano player who's performed with us many, many, many years ago, and he's back with us, and we're happy to have him here. So let this music just move you into the presence of Spirit, and you don't have to write what the issue is with yourself or anyone else. Spirit already knows before we even ask. We're just aligning ourselves with Spirit. All right, thank you. Much. What a beautiful way to start. Appreciate it. All right, now we're going to do some praying together, and many of you might already know this song. It's very, very well known. I'm joined with my daughter Arenya and my mom Norma, and I sang a piece of this last Sunday during my sermon, but I thought, let's honor this song and let's give it the respect it deserves. So I hope that we will all hear you sing while we sing with you, and we'll do that giving and receiving. Here we go. This is a prayer, so we're singing this song out to the verse.
Call me out upon the water, the great unknown, where feet may fail. grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Your feet may fail and fear surrounds me. You've never failed, and you won't start now. And I will call upon your name. Let's hear you sing. To keep my eyes above the waves. The oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine.
Bring to mind an area you want to move through, move past any boundaries. You can move it in the spirit. Bring it into your mind's eye and seeing yourself moving through, visualizing it moving in your heart. Spirit showing you the way through any obstacle in the way.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon your waters wherever you should call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon your waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon your waters wherever you should call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon your waters wherever you should call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love. Spirit, my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of your love.
Thank you, Spirit. Our lives are so blessed, and we can feel it.
I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. My soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours,
God for this beautiful day. And turn to me one another, say, thank God for you. And pat yourself on the back and say, thank you, God, for me and for my health and my love and my kindness.
All right. Did you say pat yourselves on the back and say, thank you, God, for me? That's an important part, too. Loving ourselves and blessing ourselves and stepping into the masterpiece that Spirit put us here to do and be. In that song, they're talking about going beyond the borders, the limited thinking or the limited feelings that we've embraced in our life from something that cut us and made us feel that we were less than. And we're here every Sunday to remember that we don't have to live there. We don't have to live in those belief systems, because the most nurturing journey is between mind and heart. And the heart knows the truth. The heart will guide and direct, but the mind will still live in the past and still look at the cuts and the discord and the things that have made us feel separate and apart from this divine alignment we call God, Source, Spirit, whatever word makes you feel held and embraced by this greater love. Rumi, one of the greatest mystics, said it this way: out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Because for us, that song normally says that you're going to get an opportunity to be with Jesus, which is the Christian idea of these songs. So we rewrite the lyrics so there's more of a mystical experience for us to have it developed within ourselves from higher consciousness, from 5D consciousness, from the download of knowledge that came with us when we were born, that moves through all the many lifetimes, all of the knowledge that we have stepped into many lifetimes, and we've achieved many things. And Edgar Cayce says, we don't ever forget what we learned from the other lifetime. So we have access of knowledge, so we don't have to relearn mistakes we made in the past. We can access this higher consciousness that we discovered so that what we are stumbling on are the things of this lifetime, of what we're here to grow and do and be this time around. So last week I was talking about Christianity and how unity is a Christian New Thought movement. But we really only studied the New Testament, and we study the New Testament through the metaphysical lens. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who are the founders of Unity, Charles mostly was the metaphysician that wrote a book that's this big as a Bible, and has every word from the Bible and what the breakdown of it means metaphysically, so that we can take these stories from 2,000 years ago and apply them in our lives here and now. Instead of looking back on how that affected the lives of these people in a completely different time, in a completely different era, without cell phones and without all the different things, and they still had trials and tribulations. Think of how many trials and tribulations we are having with all the distractions of technology. Wars, government falling apart, financial structures. I mean, everything that's happening right now is in an upheaval and a falling out. And when we realize that we're divine, powerful, spiritual beings first, we don't have to be part of that fallout. We can look upon those things. We don't have to be upon those things. And we can stay in the eye of the storm and be these powerful spiritual beings first in everything we do. And we don't lose our footing. We don't lose our assurity in this greater something that divinely guides and directs absolutely everything. But we do learn from the difficult stuff. Right? So we probably, with all the currents of upheaval going out in the world, we also have things unearthing in our own lives. And that's all in divine order too, if we let it be in divine order and we start to look at it as spiritual lessons to overcome and to not to break us, but to build us. into what we are here to do and be. And if you think about it, like if we believe in reincarnation and we believe that there's soul groups and we come in together, many of us have traveled together, and you'll see that when you meet somebody and there's just an immediate attraction, like just a connection, right? You've probably had that with your best girlfriends or your spouses or whatever. You just knew them without them even giving you any history, right? There was just a soul bond. Right? And we meet many different soul bonds throughout our life when we are needing different ones to enter and different ones to exit. Soul bonds don't mean they stay there the whole time. Sometimes they're there for a time to shake things up again and they exit. And we think, oh, we'll never see them again. No, they'll be around again next lifetime, and you guys are playing this out. It's a wonderful, wonderful dance, and it's really cool when you look into this stuff. You start to look for the signs and symbols of spirit communicating with you. You start to look from a mysticism eye, which is what I was talking about last week, and I'm bringing it here again today, because the mystical to me is the most important thing. You might know every Bible quote that ever lived, and you can read them forwards and backwards, and you can debate with me about what they mean and things like that, and I can stand pretty good in that. And I can also break down metaphysically the Bible very, very well too, because I went into the studies of those things. But as a spiritual being first, having a human experience, I want to hear what you wake up for. I want to hear the song of your heart that excites you, that keeps you going, that brings light in the firmament. I want to know what is exciting for you and what you're manifesting in your life. And I want to share that with you from my life too. And so when we start to look at the bubbling up of the firmament in our life, this invisible ether that has the ability to transform any human life, when we realize that we're spiritual first, then we will make the spiritual play more important. So the spiritual work, people like to say that, I think it's play. Playing in the ethereal, playing with this veil when you've lost friends or family members, and when you feel that connection, when you literally feel your friends come into your body that have passed away. Who has felt that when you've had somebody that's crossed over that completely came in your body and you experienced them totally? For those of you that didn't put your hands up, do you believe that that's possible? Well, that's good. As long as we're open to having experiences, then experiences will come to us. So Edgar Cayce writes, we may not always be able to understand why a certain situation was drawn to us, or perhaps we are disheartened by what we see as unfair suffering for ourselves and for others. The whys may never be known, and in fact, the whys may not be of primary importance. What is important is how we choose to respond. The way we respond to any given situation determines the next experience to be called into action. So it's almost like a test, right? Like, when you've just completely lost it and you spinned out of control because it's just another current of something you've seen in your life before, and you just know the outcome that it's going to be, and so you predict the outcome and the response is the same, and you're just living in this loop, and you never can break out of it because you still expect that bad is going to fall your way. Instead of building a new lens on your life, when something has a flavor that has similarities to the past, we respond from a higher consciousness and finally break free from that loop. That's what the mystical does for us. When we believe that something wonderful can happen, even in the darkest days, then we break through much quicker because we're in the spiritual. We're in the mystical, into the mysticism of ourselves. So this last Friday, in the early afternoon, my daughter, Katya, who is 15, that's my oldest daughter, Renya, she has been training in a dance team all year long, and she's been in dance competitions all year, but yesterday was the big performance where all of Lions comes out and fills this huge auditorium 2 times to watch this dance team, because it really comes with high regard. They're really amazing, and she's so excited for us to see all of the progress that she's done, and it's an unbelievable thing to watch what she was at 14 and where she is now, and I'm just so excited because when your kids are thriving and there's a light that's a light in them, there really isn't anything that makes a mother happier. Like, my happiness is so separate from my kids' happiness, and I know that's not good, and people say that, but be a mom and just watch how it is. It's the reality. Your needs are so separate from what your children's glowingness does to you. And she was glowing, and she's packing her costumes, and I'm looking at all the costumes, and I was a dancer my whole life too, so I just admire the costumes now, are just unbelievable, and she's packing up, and she's getting all ready to go to the dress rehearsal on Friday for the shows yesterday. And I hear her get a phone call, and she's in another room, and I'm hearing the light coming out of her as she's speaking on this phone. And I know she's talking with her father. And her father is letting her know that he will not be attending any of the shows that she's going to be doing on Saturday. And I'm hearing her begging him to please come, and I don't know what the excuses are. I'm not getting into it. I can hear his voice through the phone. And my experience with this person has just been, this has been one of the greatest teachers of my life, is co-parenting with this human being. And he just doesn't fit in the alignment of what I believe is great for the kids, and that doesn't mean he's bad or good, he just doesn't fit into my alignment. So I found myself affected very much to see the light come out of her eyes, and now I'm seeing her trying to pull her act together before she has to go to this dress rehearsal. And we went, and I took her to get snacks and some things for the day, so to make it fun, get her some fun stuff at this market. And I said to her, I heard that phone call, and I said, do you want to talk about it? And she says, I can't, or I'm going to mess up all my makeup, because her hair's all in this exact do, and the makeup's all a certain way. And I shared with her, I can't even imagine what that's like for you, because my parents were married, and my parents would have never missed any of the things that I did. And I started crying. And she said, Mom, you can't cry because I don't want to make it get messed up. And I said, well, just try this. Let your tears come through me. Let me grieve this for you so you can have the most exciting day today. And so she just closed her eyes, and I just wept for her, to let it just move through my body, because I can let this go for her, and she can now go in as the bright star that she is. And when she left my car, she was glowing. I felt a direct connection with Spirit as that grief came through me of, this is a different approach than I used to take. I've gotten very angry in the past. This kind of neglect towards my 2 kids that I have with him. And I would take it personally that I chose a person like this in my life for them to have a father like this in their life. Like I did, how we just shame ourselves and put ourselves down. How could I have not seen the red flags before I brought these kids in the world, for them to have this discord right out the gate, this kind of conflict, so early on. And so I dropped her off at the Lions High School, and I proceeded to just drive right down the street to this beautiful park, and it's a place that I walk with my dog all the time. And I got out of the car, and I started walking with my dog, and it was the strangest weather. The weather has been strange. I mean, it is really interesting, isn't it? But literally, it's just a bunch of red rock walls in Lions, this park that goes forever. And there was a thunderstorm that looked like a circle. It almost looked like an alien, honestly, with just rumbling, these clouds that you can just see are filled with water. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get poured on any time. But there's talking in these clouds. There's thunder, talking to each other. It literally sounded like the great masters were discussing the situation of what I just left. I mean, I'm just imagining, yes, yeah, right? Can you believe what just happened with my daughter? I just felt like we were having this unbelievable, mystical experience. And there was this light breeze. I've never experienced it. I walk there 5 times a week. I live there with my dog. This is my happy spiritual place. Never has the weather been like that. And there's this little bit of breeze that was catching all of the fragrances of all the flowers. So the air just smelled of just flowers. I mean, I was just getting blessed with these flowers and this conversation of Spirit, just having this unbelievable experience. And at one point, I was in tears in the majesty of nature, in just pure awe of the answer of the call of my heart, wanting to know how to fix the situation. And when I realized I can't fix it, I just have to hold the space and be the best mom I can be with the situation. So later, about an hour after I was done with the walk, I went back home and my son was there and I sat down with him, and he's 17, and I shared with him what's going on with her dad and Katya. And he's just pure mysticism. He's actually, we need to get more in his human body. This boy is like in the ethers. He's the most intuitive, most spiritual, most just light being. If anything, we need to get him in his mathematics and his books and get some grades at school, but it's all good. I share with him what's going on with Katya and her dad, and he looked at me with such clarity and such love, such warmth in his eyes. He said, "Don't worry, I'll go talk to him." Which in the past he's been very intimidated to talk to him, but it was just, there was a man in him that I'd never seen before. It was just so assured. And lo and behold, he showed up to the dance performance yesterday because Ty's coming into his adulthood. And I saw it, I trusted when he said it. So my whole life I've been looking for the mystical in the difficult. I realize when you really are on a spiritual journey that every skinned knee, every difficult time, every loss of a house or relationship or health challenge, inside every single one of those is a teacher. And we can live with the health challenge for years on end if we keep thinking it's a human experience. But when we look through the view of the mystical being, the spiritual being first, we see it as an impulse. It's saying to you, look at this, your hip is hurting. What does that mean? I always love to see with health issues to look up the list from Louise Hayes online, that you can look up any ailment on your body and it will say what's happening in your body emotionally. And it's right on. Every time I've ever looked at lower back or achy shoulder, it will say exactly what emotionally is going on. And then you can attack and look at what the emotion is that you're harboring that's getting stored in some part of the body instead of getting fearful that there's something really wrong. So I read this later that day. I picked up my book. It's called Wild Mercy by Mirabai Starr, and we did a women's book group with this book, and it was so amazing. I believe she's one of the greatest divine feminine modern mystics as far as just speaking directly to the heart. This book is hard to read without crying because she touches, and this is what I read after I talked to my son. And as you gaze at your newborn baby now, there is yet a deeper sorrow behind your resignation to failure. You know that you will be unable to protect your beloved child from the pain of this world. You know you will try anyway, try with all your might, that you will do anything to keep this beloved person from bearing a fraction of the suffering you have endured, that you would die for them, and you do. To be someone's mother is to die again and again. Die to who you thought you were and who you hoped you would be. Die to your cherished notion of what a child of yours should look like, sound like, behave like. Die to your illusion of control. Control of your own emotions. Control of your child's experiences. And in proportion to all your deaths, you will be blessed with endless resurrections. You will rise, radiant from the flames of what you thought was the end of the world. And your child will rise, luminous from the ashes of your errors. Then there will be those moments of perfect wholeness, many more of these than the broken ones, when you are driving together to a ballet lesson. Or the hardware store, and a feeling of utter contentment will wash over you. Looking over at that being you call your son or daughter, you will say, "Do you know that you are my favorite person in the world to hang out with?" And they will smile and nod and say, "Me too." Meaning this person, your child, wouldn't trade these times with you for anything. And something in your soul will understand that the torn fabric of the world has just been mended a little by the ordinary miracle of love. That woman can write, right? I will never write a book because of this lady. It's like, I have a few authors, like, everyone's like, please write the book. Please write the book. I'm like, no. I read this, and I'm like, no. That's just unbelievable. So, it's so true. It's like with every beautiful experience, there's a torn piece of us. There's, even when we're excited about getting married, there's the fear of whatever happened in our life that it's not going to work. We always have this tattered side of the beautiful things that come about in our life. It's the duality of this experience, and the truth is we cannot avoid pain. Pain is our teacher. This teacher, in the embodiment as father of my children, has been one of the greatest teachers of my life. I had no idea I had the capacity for the patience that I've discovered in me. The peace that I can hold in the presence of them with just pure, unbelievable, like, shock of what somebody that says they love someone can do. And I don't know if you've ever watched or read that book. What is that? The Neil Donald Walsh, is it The Seed of the Sun? What is it? Seed of the Soul, where they say these difficult people come in and they actually have chosen to be that discord in your life. And that was their gift for you, to be able to understand the divine oneness with this greater power we call love. That people are willing to actually come in and be the one that's difficult in your life. And that always makes me feel so much better when I think this is all in divine order. And my children chose their father. They chose me. That's what Edgar Casey says. Edgar Casey says we chose our parents, whether they were good or bad. We chose them ahead of time, saying we're willing to learn these lessons as we go. You see, there's a version of you out there that has it all and already has it all. Every single one of you, there is a version out there that has it all. And making an intention to meet up with this part of yourself is the mystical ride. That part of you that has all the prosperity, the love, the health, the beingness, the joy, the excitement. And all you have to do is step into that higher consciousness that merges with her or with him. And we think it has to be some long awakening journey where we have to walk through India and, like fast, or we have to do all these, we think we have to do ayahuasca. That's the big one everyone's doing right now, which I just think is ridiculous. I mean, I'm sorry if you enjoy it, but if you can't get to this sober, I mean, it might crack a door open for you, which is, I guess, helpful, but all these hallucinogenics now are so important to get to the spiritual work. You will have hallucinations in your dreams and experiences when you open up to there is a part of you that's perfect already here in the very midst of you. You don't need drugs to lessen the limited beliefs in your system. You need to start meditating more on this perfection. Walking in nature on this perfection. I don't judge ayahuasca. I have friends that are all going to workshops. I'm going to leave. I'm really not against it. I just wouldn't do it myself, but I'm not judging, because actually I've got too many friends that have done it at this point. And they're beautiful, amazing, spiritual people. So, if there is a version of you out there that has it all, let's take a minute to look at what that version would be. Let's take some inventory. What would that version look like? What would that version feel like? What would it be like to walk in this version of you? And what would you have to believe about yourself to let yourself have this part of yourself? What would you have to let go of to step in this allness of you? It's simple. I like to say that whenever things are difficult in my life, It's simple, though. We tend to think, the big Bible statements, we will overcome the mountains, we will overcome these massive, it's not. That's also being plugged into your mind that it has to be hard to overcome. It's simple. Are you ready? And are you willing to allow it? Carolyn May says it this way: letting that divine force go through us with abandon is what transforms the world. That's the thing about mystical experiences. You can't prove them, and what they do, they bring you deeper and deeper and deeper into an inner space that is in conflict with the rational outer space that people collectively share. Let me read that again. The mystical experiences, you can't prove them, and what they do, they bring you deeper and deeper and deeper into an inner space that is in conflict with the rational outer space that people collectively share. But in your inner space, that becomes more of this place where you understand how creation works. In John 18:36, Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." It is not of this world. So that's why we always say we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we got to figure out how we can connect with the spiritual. The spiritual still has connection with people that have crossed over because souls never die. We take out all the limitation of the physicality that keeps us blocked from so many things that devastates us and makes us sad, to having a fluidity between the ethereal and the physical. And if we can speak to people that have crossed over, who's to say that they can't help us from the other side to heal whatever's going wrong in our physical body, or even asking for our friends and our soul groups or our grandparents or our angels or our soul guides to help us. Help us with our unbelief. Help us with this negativity that we keep sharing with ourselves and other, that keeps us stuck in this loop, repeating the same life, different day. Meister Eckhart said, "You need seek God neither below or above. She is no farther away than the door of the heart." You need seek God neither below or above. She is no farther away than the door of the heart. Meister Eckhart is one of the great mystics who was born in the year of 1260, over 700 years ago. And here he has this wisdom that is so helpful right here. All of the landscapes of life may have changed through time, but the human and the spiritual experience has been the same. It's the duality. This belief that something outside of us could fix us, that some separate Jesus could fix us. Jesus said, "I am the way and the light. You can work the same miracles as I do if you go to the source, Spirit, Allah, Lord. You have direct dominion over this experience." He's saying, I'm just an example of the majesty that lives within you. Are you ready? You can work these miracles. You can lay hands on other people's bodies and heal them. You can lay them on yourself and heal them. You can simply change your mind about something and have a brand new experience. I just want to take you into a short meditation. Wayne Dyer always says, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And I'd like to change that to, it happens from you. It happens from you. And I heard a really good thing from somebody this week that said, if it brings you fear, it's not intuition. I really, really liked that. Because we like to panic ourselves about situations that are happening in life, and when we feel the fear, we identify, oh my gosh, I'm being warned. No, we're identifying with the fight or flight response that all of us are too much living in because we're believing in what the world is doing, the falling apart of the world. The masters, the mystics, the spirit does not fear things that you cannot see. We create them. So if it's fear, it's not intuition. So Josh, if I could get some music real quick, that would be super duper. So let's go into the reality that it's not too late. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now, right here, in this moment. You can manifest anything that you can feel in your being as truth. Many of our beliefs about what's possible and what's not have come from difficult times in our lives. Consider the possibility that these beliefs may not be true. You are not going back. That phase is over. Don't let limiting beliefs, limiting responses hold you back. You can achieve your desires if you can see it in your mind's eye and believe and feel that it's already coming to you. It's time you release the old stories and beliefs. You deserve a fresh start and a new reality that's filled with wonderful, wonderful miracles and blessings. You will soon receive what you have been hoping for. It is good. It is possible. Affirm today, I am getting healthier every day. I am committed to becoming a better version of myself. I am willing to forgive myself. I am worthy of moving forward. I deserve to live my best life. Meister Eckhart also said, above all else, know this: be prepared at all times for the gifts of God, and be ready always for new ones. For God is 1,000 times more ready to give than we are to receive. And so with this powerful statement said, we ask you to come back into this room. Take this all into your heart. And we end with a thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. We have no complaints whatsoever. Amen. Thank you.
I so appreciate that unity shows us and reminds us that there's always a flow of that mystical love, no matter what's happening in our lives and the world, that we can tap into. And today, with our donation, we are asking you to help us spread this message, this is empowering truth out into the world and into this community. And you can see there's all these ways to give, but as Mike mentioned earlier, we are tightening our ship. And we found out that some of the ways that we were accepting donations, there's a high fee, as much as 5%. So if you're doing Easy Tithe, consider another way. Also, donor box was another way. It's very high. But we made it really simple too, because remember, there is a new big blue button. If you go to our website, and that one button, you can do pretty much everything. Recurring, single donations, with PayPal or without PayPal. There's even a way just to do it right from your bank, which has almost no fees. So just let you know that we are really tightening our ship. And I also want to say one more thing too, is remember that we walk the talk. Everything you give to us, we tithe as well. We're asking you to tithe, we tithe. We participate with all those organizations, and we give to Unity headquarters. So we're not asking you to do anything that we are not doing. So let us all be grateful for the slow, not even slow, thank you, universe, for the upswelling of love and a higher frequency in this world.
With that very clear message in mind, let us bring into our hands, into our minds, that financial tithe we'd like to make to Unity of Boulder. Let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Amen. Oh, we have a guest pianist here today. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. All right. All right, David, take it away.
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. That was otherworldly. That was a mystical experience in its own. We have prayer partners available to you today if you're facing a challenge. They're wearing the white sashes over here. If you'd like to meet with one of them, you can stay seated in your seat and they will come and find you and pray with you here in the sanctuary or down in our meditation room downstairs. We have a potluck right after. We have plenty of food. If you already don't have a dish to share, just come and join us and we'll all start eating together in about 10 minutes in there. And our discussion group will take place in the actual fellowship hall during the potluck. So let's all rise and close with I release and I let go.